Now, we've all heard that saying that you need to drink 8 glasses of water a day, right? It's one of those sayings that our mums yelled at us when we were kids, like an apple a day will keep the doctor away, but no one ever tells us why. As an adult, our bodies are made up of an average of 70% of water, even more when we're born and less when we're old and wrinkly. Our organs, tissues, cells, and even our blood rely on water to survive. But not all water is equal. It's why so many people, maybe just like yourself, filter your water or choose to drink bottled water. So many people are choosing Brita filters, installing home filtration systems, or even buying bottled water, but it's definitely not practical.
Yeah, look, there's a major problem with them sort of filtrations and bottled waters, and the problem with Brita filters is they don't actually remove chemicals like chlorine. They just hide the taste by removing things like odour and sediment. Now, bottled water, on the other hand, is an unregulated process with about 90% of bottled spring water actually just being filtered tap water in a bottle. Yeah, that's right, spring water is simply branding, yet they're charging you a 500% markup for that tap water. And to make things worse, because it's in a plastic bottle, we now have an abundance of added chemicals and toxins leached into our water. I mean, have you ever picked up a bottle of water and actually looked at the date it was bottled? Nearly all of the bottles of water on the shelf are at least 12 months old. Just imagine how long they've been sat on the shelf, in the sun. When they're in the sun, that's when they leach the most amount of chemicals. Only recently we've seen on the news here in Australia that the average 1 litre bottle of water contains over 250,000 microplastics. That same study said if you're drinking 2 litres of bottled water a day, then you're consuming about 5 grams of plastic a week. Most of us wouldn't consciously eat our bank cards, but that's what we're consuming when we're drinking bottled water. Now, it's actually pretty crazy to me that we used to think that that stuff was the best for us, and we used to buy it. Now, we used to buy bottled water, we used to waste our time, our money, and all because we believed it was a healthier option. Now, we want to share with you why so many celebrities like Tom Brady, like Stephen Curry, like Novak Djokovic are choosing to drink Kangen water too, and why it's going to be one of the most common home appliances within the next 5 years.
Yes, we're going to show you why it's better for our health and our environment, and why so many people are switching over to Kangen water. This is because of the water's 3 main properties: ORP, which is oxidation-reduction potential, alkalinity, and hydration on a cellular level. This is the K8 ionizer, producing us electrolyzed reduced water called Kangen water. Kangen meaning return to origin in Japanese, so returning our bodies to our natural state. These ionizers are made by Enagic, a 50-year-old Japanese company. So how do they work? This machine first filters your water through an antibacterial carbon filter, removing sediment, odor, heavy metals, and chemicals such as chlorine, leaving you with fresh, clean water. Now, here's why it's just not a filter. It then goes through an electrolysis process, separating the molecules in your water. Now, this is done by water flowing through 8 electrically charged platinum-dipped titanium plates. Now, this isn't standard platinum that we're talking about, it's medically graded. And Enagic actually hold a medical certificate for these machines. This process creates super hydrating, alkalized, hydrogen-rich water. Now, the hydrogen in the water is simply the antioxidant content, and we'll get back into this more throughout the video. These ionizers are so easy to set up with no plumbing skills needed. They simply attach to your faucet. Now, this device is portable, so you can easily set it up in your caravan, or you can take it on holiday with you. We always do. These machines are fully medically graded, meaning they come with a certificate that allows you to travel on the plane with them. Now, this one machine produces 5 different types of water and has over 100 uses, which we're going to get into shortly. But first, let's jump into the benefits of this product.
Yeah, so let's look at the first major property of these products. ORP. Now, the ORP is oxidation-reduction potential, which basically means the potential to reduce oxidation. Oxidation just means something that causes aging and stress to our bodies. No different to when you leave an apple on the side and it starts to brown, or you leave a car in a paddock and it starts to rust. What we have here is a device that scientists use to measure the amount of antioxidants inside of something. Now, this machine is going to show a couple of readings. It's either going to show a positive reading or a negative reading. Negative readings show there's an abundance of antioxidants inside of the liquid or the solution. positive readings show that something is super oxidizing to our body. Now, the higher the reading, the faster we're going to age, the faster we're going to damage cells, the faster we're going to cause oxidation inside of our body. Now, people often ask myself and Sharna and the rest of our team, can you reverse aging? And the simple answer is no, but you can definitely slow it down and speed it up by the things that you consume. And we all have that friend, you know, that one friend that looks way older than they are. Now, they're probably the same friend, correct me if I'm wrong here, but they're probably the same friend that drinks, that smokes, that consume a heap of junk food. They really don't look after their health. But we know we can do the opposite by consuming anti-oxidizing foods. Foods and liquids such as green tea, cod liver oil, blueberries, all things we associate with antioxidants, right? Now, remember, if a liquid gives a negative reading, it means it's full of antioxidants. And now, up to recently, scientists believed that green tea was the most antioxidant liquid found or food found on Earth. That was until, though, the Japanese created ionized water. So let's take a look at some of these readings of these drinks here. It's going to give me 2 seconds to pour these out. So let me just kick this reader out in the way. I'm going to grab that again in a second, and I'll just pour out some of these liquids. Got Sprite, Gatorade. Right, so now we've poured those out, I'm going to grab hold of our reader here. And I really want you to just remember that a positive reading means something is bad for us. Yeah? So let's start with Sprite. I'm going to try and get you to be able to see this on the camera. Let's start with Sprite. And we're instantly going to see a positive reading. But we all know that fizzy drinks are not great for us. But positive 640, that's huge. Yeah? Super positive reading. Then we're going to go to Gatorade. Now, Gatorade is something we assume that sports stars drink. Why would they drink something that's oxidizing to their body, that's speeding up their aging process? These guys want to be in optimum shape. Then we've got carbonated water, and again, oxidizing, full of CO2, the thing that our body fights to get rid of. Then we've got Mount Franklin. Mount Franklin is probably the most drunk Australian bottle of water. It's in every servo, every shop. Now, again, positive 500, super oxidizing. Fiji water, again, we didn't just go and get cheap bottles of water here. We actually got some of the best waters on the shelf, some of the most expensive waters on the shelf. Fiji water, probably the most popular water from around the globe, positive 460. Again, oxidizing to our body. Then we've got Alka Power. This is Australian brand of alkaline water. Again, down a little bit, but it's still positive, 350 nearly, oxidizing to our bodies. Tap water. Our tap water, again, it's just idolizing itself, but nearly positive 400, yeah? All of these drinks are causing stress inside of your body. Now, we're going to pay close attention to the reading on this here when we go into our Kangen water. Now, what you're going to notice is it really quickly jumps to a negative number, yeah? This water in this bottle has probably been sat here for an hour, maybe 2 hours maximum, and straight away we're already down to nearly negative 800. What that's showing is there's a crazy amount of antioxidants in this one glass. It's actually crazy to think that that one glass of water has more antioxidants than all of those bottles of water put together, yeah? Dr. Filtzer has actually said that you cannot possibly consume as many antioxidants eating fruits and vegetables in one day as you would consuming a single glass of Kangen water. So imagine drinking 8 glasses of this a day, what it could do for you and your family. Now, let's get rid of this and let's look at the alkalinity of Kangen water. Yeah, now let's look at the alkalinity of Kangen water. Dr. Warburg won a Nobel Prize for finding the root cause of cancer. And he famously said that cancer cannot survive in an alkaline environment. Every single thing we eat or drink is either alkaline or acidic. So if we pump our body full of acidic liquids, yeah, our body's going to become more and more acidic, which causes things like acidosis and leads to disease and inflammation and accelerates aging. Now, our body, when we're born, our bodies are alkaline, but as we age, day-to-day things like stress at work, eating unhealthy foods, smoking, even the air that we breathe, it creates a slightly acidic environment inside of us, and acidic environments promote disease and poor health. So it's important for us to think about what we're consuming, and we want to consume alkaline foods and drinks to return our body to a natural state and help alkalize that acid buildup that we create in our day-to-day lives. So, pH drops, where are you? So now I found my pH drops. We have these pH drops here, and these are the same sort of pH drops you use to test the pH in your pool or in your fish tank. And when we add these to water, you're going to see a color change depending on the acidity or the alkalinity of a water level. Yeah, and it's going to show whether something's acidic or whether something's causing sickness and disease, or something's alkaline causing good health. What I'm going to do is just going to add a few pH drops to each of these liquids, and we'll see what they come out like. So as you can imagine, soda, we all know, is acidic. Yeah, sodas are almost as acidic as our stomach acid, so you definitely want to stay away from that stuff. Yeah, but what we don't think about is sports drinks. We look at sports drinks as something that is good for us because our sports stars are promoting it, but it's acidic. We've already seen that it's oxidizing to our bodies, and it's acidic too. So ask yourself, why would anybody be drinking that stuff? Yeah, so then we have our sparkling water, again, acidic. Our Mount Franklin water, again, acidic. Like all of these things, we're literally paying to cause acidosis in our body. Then we've got our Fiji water. Now, that is actually a little bit better than the rest of them. It's actually in a neutral state. But something to think about, yeah, is how long have these things been sat on the shelf for? Now, I know Fiji bottles actually have a bottled date on them. And this one here was bottled in September 2023. So that's been in the bottle for nearly 12 months. It's sitting on the shelf, sitting on the tarmac, traveling the world. And we've already seen on the news how many microplastics, how many chemicals are leaching into our waters while these are sitting in the sun. So just because it's a neutral state doesn't mean it's good for us because of all that chemicals and all them plastics that are leaked into that water. Now, what we have here is our Australian version of alkaline water. So we assume that it's great for us. So before we move on to tap water, again, there's plastics, there's leaching of chemicals and toxins in these bottles here. But what most people don't understand is how does that alkaline water stay alkaline for so long in a bottle? Now that's because of a chemical change. Yeah, they're adding chemicals to our bottles of water to help them stay alkaline. Pick up most bottles of alkaline water, what you're going to do is turn it around and see, you're going to see a big list of ingredients. Why have we got a big list of ingredients in our tap water? We know water, alkaline water, we know water is H2O. So why have we got a list of things like bicarb soda and a bunch of other stuff? It's to stabilize that pH and allow it to stay in a bottle for a long enough time. But I'm going to show you something pretty cool about that in a minute. Now we've got our tap water, again, a neutral state, yeah? Now the government actually regulates that at a neutral state because if something's too acidic, it's going to rot their infrastructure, yeah? They're not changing that to an alkaline state, to a neutral state for our health reasons. They're looking after their infrastructure, yeah? Again, too acidic, it's going to rot their and corrode their pipes. Too alkaline, it's going to cause a bacteria growth in their water. So what do? They grab barrels and barrels of chemicals, fluoride, chlorine, anything else you can think of, and chuck it into our waterways to maintain that neutral level in our water. but again, we're pumping ourselves full of chemicals. Then we look at this Kangen water, look, this deep, dark purple. That's showing that something is super alkaline. Now, Kangen water, is done by an electrical charge. Yeah, the pH is altered by an electrical charge. I can walk over to our machine right now, I can press the screen, I can change the setting of the pH I want and select the value of alkalinity that I want from that machine. And depending on how much charge that machine puts into the water is going to depend on what pH is created. So if we want 7 pH, the machine will put a certain amount of charge into that to create a neutral, balanced pH level. If we want 9.5 pH, the machine's going to increase that charge to up the alkalinity for us. Now I want to show you something pretty cool. And as I said before, these alkaline water bottles are chemically changed, and I want to show you a quick way to demonstrate that, because as I've mentioned a couple of times in this video, the air that we breathe is slightly acidic, so we can utilize our acidity in our breath to test the integrity of the water in those bottles. So if I just blow into this water quickly, what you're going to see is it's changing to an acidic state. It's no longer alkaline, It doesn't take much to change that $7 bottle of water to an acidic bottle of water, By the time it gets to our stomach, it's not even alkaline anymore and it has 0 health benefits for us. But let's try that again with Kangen water. Let's get rid of that. Don't want to put some pH drops in my mouth, so let's give that a go. As you can see, that didn't change. I can stand here all day, I can run out of breath, and I can blow into that bottle, into that glass of water through that straw, and Kangen water will not change, Because Kangen water is alkalized, it's ionized, and it's electrically charged. It's not altered by chemicals, That's the major difference between alkalized water and alkaline, chemically altered water, There's a huge difference. Now, Kangen water is ionized and it contains molecular hydrogen, antioxidants, and the best of all, those two things are negatively charged. Those antioxidants, hydrogen, negatively charged ions, So every single sip that you take is rebalancing your free radical cells inside your body and creating good health. So every single one of your cells is able to move around your body freely and happily. Now, it's the type of water that you drink that is important. If you're drinking any of these other types of water and you're in a slightly acidic state you've got symptoms like acid reflux, gout, lack of energy, you're always tired, it's not too late for you, I'm going to bring Sharna around here now and she's going to show you exactly how quickly your body's state can change when you start drinking Kangen water.
So when you start drinking Kangen water, instead of these acidic drinks, you're going to see a massive difference. Your body can actually alkalize itself pretty quickly. I'm going to show you. Just a drop. It's pretty amazing, right? But look what happens when your body is too acidic. Now, don't blink because you may miss this. See that your body tries to get in an alkaline state, but it's just way too acidic. It just goes straight back to an acidic state. So many of us are led to believe that sports stars are drinking sports drinks just like these. And so did we until we did our research and found out that they're highly acidic. And how many pro athletes are already out there drinking Kangen water? Athletes like Conor McGregor, Tom Brady, Cristiano Ronaldo, Kelly Slater, and they're all major names, right? And so think about that. These guys are high-level athletes. If they want to be top of their game, then they can't afford to be in an acidic environment. They need to recover quicker, they need to have enhanced performance, and they need to stay healthier. So not full of sickness and disease and inflammation. Soda drinks are so acidic that it would take about 16 litres of fresh Kangen water to alkalize just 1 can of Sprite. Now, it's crazy when we actually become aware of how detrimental, these drinks are to our health. Remember, disease cannot survive and it cannot thrive in an alkaline environment. And what are most kids drinking? Highly processed acidic drinks. And I know that I did growing up because I didn't know any better. Now, let me show you how acidic soda really is. Now, what's 1 sip of Sprite gonna do? You have 1 sip of this and you're acidic. Now I'm going to show you a really quick demo where I'm going to pour into a big glass bowl 1 can of Sprite. Let's see how much Kangen water we need to actually neutralize the acidity. Here's the Sprite. Now, here's 1 2.5 litre jug. And another 2.5 litre jug. Now that's 4.5 litres and it hasn't even changed. It's still acidic. You actually need to drink approximately 16 litres of Kangen water just to neutralize your body. So if you're really serious about you and your family's health, the last thing you guys want to be doing and consuming is drinking these. Now let's just clean up these cups so we can show you the next big demonstration.
Right, now let's jump into the third amazing aspect of these products. Microclustering. Now, microclustering is essentially a fancy word for tiny water. I want you to think of it like this. When we boil water, the molecules become so small that they're able to turn to steam and they're able to penetrate smaller cells. That's exactly why we boil water to make tea. Kangen water, when it goes through the electrolysis process, becomes tiny. So generally we can't make tea with cold water. We're making it with boiled water. So what I've got here is I've got a green tea bag and I want to demonstrate to you exactly how Kangen water can help penetrate cells on a cellular level. And we're going to make a couple of cups of green tea with both tap water and Kangen water. Now, the first thing you're going to notice when you drink Kangen water is you're not going to feel that slushy feeling in your stomach. You're actually going to feel no bloating at all. That feeling just disappears. That's due to the smaller clusters of water. Now let's make some tea with just some plain tap water, and I'm going to hit that tea bag to give it a real good aeration. And as you notice, just like you'd expect, yeah, we didn't make any green tea because our water's not hot. Yeah, we're not making green tea with cold water. But let's jump in and try and make some with Kangen water. See what happens. Now you'll notice instantly that Kangen water, the smaller molecules have hit this tea bag and they've started to break it down, instantly making tea. Yeah. Now, if you're anything like me, the first thought you would have had is that's because that tea bag's wet. Now, I'm going to show you again. We just go once again with tap water and show you hitting that tea bag, aerating that tea bag as much as possible with that tap water. Again, it's hardly pulling any nutrients out of that tea. We're not turning that tea bag into tea really. So again, if you're like me, the next thing you're going to say to me is, but Tom, that tea bag's wet and that tea bag has already been stripped of the nutrients and you've already stripped the tea from there. Well, let's give it one last crack with a bit of Kangen water, and I'm going to bring it closer to you so you can see that as soon as that Kangen water hits that tea bag, we've instantly made green tea. Yeah. Now that's how quickly Kangen water hydrates you. It's because of them smaller molecules. Yeah. It's penetrating your cells. It's hydrating you at a cellular level. Now, the other thing I want to show you here while we're talking about this microclustering is if you're a big supplement taker or a pre-workout or you drink protein shakes, yeah, then I want you to think about how much nutrients you're pulling out of them supplements, out of those protein shakes, out of those pre-workouts, yeah? Are you getting the most for your money? Now, what I want you to think about is, I want you to imagine this green tea bag is your supplements and your pre-workouts and your protein shakes. And what we're going to do is just add a splash into these cups here, get the most out of these tea bags. Yeah, and as you can imagine, that these are your protein shakes, they're your supplements. And when you're drinking tap or bottled water, and you're adding them to your supplements, what you're actually doing is just diluting them. Nothing's coming out of them. You're not absorbing any of those nutrients or supplements or pre-workouts or protein shakes. But when you start drinking Kangen water, what's amazing is you're going to pull nutrients out that you never knew were there. Yeah? And again, when we look at these tap water cups where we've had Kangen water, tap water poured over the tea bag, if you add a bit of Kangen water, what's amazing is you're going to release nutrients, again, that you never knew were there. You're going to turn your supplements into stronger, more biodiversible supplements. You're going to utilize them in a far more effective way. You're going to get more money out of those than you ever did. Yeah? You're going to feel the effects. So if you're drinking tap or bottled water, then you're basically wasting your money. You're throwing your protein shakes, you're throwing your supplements down the drain. Think of it like this. When you take supplements, many of you will know that you take a bunch of supplements, you start to pee yellow. Yeah, that's because you're not absorbing them properly. But when you start to drink Kangen water, you're going to use all of the nutrients that are available in them supplements and pre-workouts. Now, Sharna is going to show you a few more demos and show you how you can best utilize this machine around your home.
Remember that this one amazing machine creates 5 different types of water and has over 100 uses. Here we have 8.5 all the way through to 9.5 pH Kangen water, which is great for drinking, absorbing nutrients. It's alkalized and loaded full of molecular hydrogen, the greatest known antioxidant on Earth. Now this helps to hydrate you and detox you so much faster. Then we have clean water, a pH of 7. That's great for things like making up baby formula, drinking in between meals, and taking medicines with, as it's fresh but clean. Another water is 6 pH, beauty water. It's the same as your skin, so you can actually be used as a skin toner. Now, skin toners can set you back a bit. I used to buy oil of Olay or Nivea toner, costing me around $13 a bottle at Kohl's, but this machine creates it for free. But look, these next 2 waters blow our minds. We've got 2.5 pH, which is strong acidic water, which is actually hypochlorous acid, the strongest disinfectant known to man. Now, unlike your Dettol sprays, cleaning wipes, and bleach that you may use in the home, our 2.5 strong acidic water is non-toxic, meaning it's gentle on our skin and it's safe to use around small children, around the home, creating a clean, toxic-free environment. Yes, it's so powerful, it can actually kill 99.9% of all bacteria and germs in less than 30 seconds. The next one here is your 11.5 pH, which is strong Kangen water, which we can primarily use around the kitchen and laundry. We can use it to clean our ovens as it emulsifies the oil, which we're going to show you in a second. We're able to break down all of the grease and grime. 11.5 can be used as a laundry detergent too, as well as cleaning all nasties from our fruits and veggies, removing those herbicides and pesticides. There are so many uses to these waters. Now here's just a couple of cleaning products that you can replace with these two amazing waters saving you around $2,000 a year. So now really quickly, I just want to show you what our 11.5 can actually do. Now, I bought some Roma tomatoes from the supermarket, and what most people do when they buy their fruits and vegetables is before they eat, they go and wash them off underneath the tap, you know, trying to remove any dirt, any bugs, or any chemicals. Now, the problem with that is that the chemicals, the pesticides and the herbicides, they're all oil-based, so it's very hard to get them off. Now, when they're out in the fields, they're not made to be washed off in the rain, and that's what they're there for, you know. So tap water, unfortunately, isn't able to wash them off. So what I'm going to quickly show you is just to demonstrate the power of the 11.5 over our everyday tap water. So I'm going to put half of these tomatoes in one cup and half in the other. And they've gone everywhere. It's probably about half each, maybe not. Now I'm going to fill the right one up with just tap water. I'm going to make sure I actually cover the tomatoes. And then the left one with our strong Kangen water. Give them both a quick stir. Now, while we wait for those, I actually want to show you what's happening. Here we have some sesame oil, and we've chosen a darker oil just so you can actually visualize and see what's going on. So I'm going to pour some into glass. Now we all know what happens when we put water with oil. They're chemically insoluble. They do not mix. As you can see, the oil's gone right to the top as it normally would. So what happens when we use our strong Kangen water and put it with the oil? It immediately breaks down the oil. It's emulsifying the oil. Now, this is another reason, just another reason why people are buying these machines, you know, to create a non-toxic household and everything coming from one machine. Okay, let's check on them tomatoes. Just going to move these two out the way. Now, remember, the tap water was on the right and the strong Kangen water was on the left. We're going to see how much. I'll give it this one another little stir, give it a bit of help, yeah? And see how much chemical the tap water was actually able to remove. I don't see any change. Now let's check our 11.5. We won't give this one a mix. I can already see. That's disgusting. Now, this is what's coming off of your fruits and your vegetables when you're using strong Kangen water. Now, this is all the chemicals like glyphosate or Roundup. Go Google Roundup and tell me that it's not bad for you. Now, the moment we learned this, you know, we could not consciously go back to giving our kids unwashed fruits and vegetables. This stuff is so bad for you, like literally cancer-causing chemicals all sprayed onto our fruits and our vegetables. But that's not all I want to show you. There's one last thing that happens when we soak our fruits and vegetables in tap water. Because we all know what's in our tap water, chlorine, right? So what happens when we leave our fruits and vegetables in the tap water? So here we have 2 glasses. I am going to put some tap water in both. Try and do the same amount. So I put the tap water in. I'm going to put zucchini in one. And I've got some chlorine drops. I'm just going to put these in the tap water with no zucchini to start with. Now, what these drops are going to show you is a colour change. It's going to go yellowy to show the chlorine present in the water. Now, can you already see that yellow tinge? Because I can from here. I'm just going to pull the zucchini out. For those in England, they're actually called courgettes. So we're going to take the zucchinis out. Put them to the side. Now I'm going to do the same thing as I did with this one. I'm going to put the chlorine drops back in. I'm going to give it a stir, just like we did with the other one. And it's strange because this one's not changing colour at all. I mean, look at the colour of this one. So much chlorine's present, and this is just our everyday tap water. So where is the chlorine? It's all been absorbed by the vegetables.
Now it's amazing what Sharna just showed you, right? How quickly our foods and our fruits and our veggies absorb chlorine, yeah? So we're trying to clean our foods, but what we're actually doing is adding more chemicals instead. Now, our skin is our largest organ, and it does exactly what that fruit and veg does. It absorbs, so you can only imagine what happens to our skin when we're in the shower. So when you're in the shower, not only is your skin absorbing chlorine, up to 8 classes of chlorine in a single shower, but you're actually breathing in hot steam, yeah? That hot steam is full of chlorine. And I don't know if you know this, but chlorine is in its most dangerous form as a gas. And that steam we're breathing is full of it, yeah? It's exactly why when you go in a hot shower, you lose your breath. And that's exactly why Enagic have created a NESPA, a mineral iron shower unit. It's like being in one of those hot springs, soaking in all the good minerals, and you've got no bad chemicals while you're showering. If you're keen on learning more about Enagic's full product range, then reach out to the person that sent you this video.
So now you've seen what this amazing product can do for your health, your family's health, and your household savings. It's easy to understand how Enagic is changing lives. We want to help bring the cleanest, healthiest water to your home. Guys, I want you to ignore the hype out there. Pay attention to the fact that there's a reason so many doctors, nutritionists, healthcare practitioners are starting to recommend Kangen water. True, clean, green living is the way, and Kangen water is the vehicle to get there. Don't let your body be the filter. Change your water and change your life.